Good morning, students. This video is for class 7 students. Biology subject, chapter number 4, Respiration. Introduction part. Both plants and animals use food molecules as the building blocks to construct and repair the cells and obtain energy. We all know that both plants and animals, every living thing requires food. Why? Because they act as the building blocks to construct and repair the cells and to obtain energy. Food is the basic requirement for our body to construct and repair our cells and also to gain energy. We know that plants can manufacture their own food whereas animals cannot. Plants can manufacture their own food by the process known as photosynthesis that you studied in detail in the previous chapter. But animals cannot. They have to depend on plants for their food or animals for their food. They have to obtain it from their diet, but once inside the plant or animal cell, these food molecules, mainly glucose, are degraded in similar step-by-step manner, and the energy present in the food is converted to ATP. So, what happens in case of animals? They obtain it from their diet, through their diet, through the food that either plant produce or through from the food they get from other animals. So they obtain it from their diet. But once the food is inside the plant or animal cell, the food molecules, mainly the glucose molecules, they are broken down or degraded into similar step by step manner, and the energy present in the food is converted into ATP. What happens? This glucose, the glucose obtained from the food, needs to be broken down. Once this reaches the animal cell or plant cell, the glucose molecule needs to be degraded, needs to be broken down into very smaller particles so that it can give energy. And how it gives energy? It gives energy by converting the food into ATP. ATP is the source of energy. The main energy giving content in our body is ATP. So respiration or the complete oxidation of glucose is the chief source of energy in most cells. So this process, that is the respiration process, or it is also known as the oxidation of glucose. Here from the diet we get glucose, and that glucose is oxidized to get the energy, and that is how energy is given to all the cells. So in this chapter you will be learning some new words. First one is respiration. Respiration is the process of releasing energy from food. So the energy that we get from our diet, the food that we get from our diet needs to be changed into the form of energy. और एनर्जी में चेंज होने के लिए दे रिक्वायर सम प्रोसेस, एंड दैट प्रोसेस इज नोन एज respiration. Now there are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. What is aerobic respiration? The type of respiration in which the breakdown of glucose occurs with the use of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. What is aerobic respiration? The respiration process in which the breakdown of glucose requires ऑक्सीजन. एरोबिक का मतलब ही होता है कि ऑक्सीजन की प्रेजेंस में कोई चीज़ हो रही है तो उसको एरोबिक बोलते हैं. सो द ब्रेक डाउन ऑफ ग्लूकोज टू गिव एनर्जी इज occurring in the presence of oxygen. That is known as aerobic respiration. And what is anaerobic respiration? Just the opposite. The type of respiration in which the food is broken down without using oxygen is known as anaerobic respiration. Because an word is used, so matlab absence of oxygen. Now lenticels, the small openings or slits present in the woody stems for the exchange of gases. What are lenticels? These are the small openings or slit-like structures present on the woody stems. जो woody stems होते हैं उन पे कैसे होगा gases exchange? We know कि stomata के through leaf पे होता है. Stomata are the small openings present on the leaf, and in that case the gaseous exchange occur through stomata. But in case of woody stems, They have structures called lenticels, which are small openings or which are slit-like structures present on the stems that are responsible for gaseous exchange. Now, what is external respiration? It involves taking in oxygen-rich air during inhalation step and giving out air rich in carbon dioxide during exhalation step. Now, what is external respiration? इसमें क्या होता है? Inhale of oxygen. As we do inhale oxygen, we inhale oxygen and we exhale out what? Carbon dioxide. So, release of carbon dioxide and getting of involved taking in of oxygen is known as inhalation step, and removal of oxygen carbon dioxide from our body is called exhalation. So that is how जब ये दोनों steps simultaneously होते हैं, that is known as external respiration. The next is fermentation. Partial oxidation of glucose in the absence of oxygen producing ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. So यहाँ पे respiration क्या था? Complete oxidation. Okay. Complete oxidation हो रहा था, यानी breakdown of glucose in the presence of oxygen aerobic respiration में. लेकिन fermentation में क्या होता है? पार्शियल ऑक्सीडेशन होता है. पार्शियल यानी आधा अधूरा ऑक्सीडेशन. ग्लूकोज का कंप्लीट ऑक्सीडेशन नहीं होता है, एंड दैट टू इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन. ऑक्सीजन की कमी में होता है. एंड व्हाट आर द प्रोडक्ट्स फॉर्म्ड आफ्टर फर्मेंटेशन प्रोसेस? दैट इज अल्कोहल, इथाइल अल्कोहल एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. दीज टू आर फॉर्म्ड वंस द fermentation steps occurs. So these were the few words that you will be learning in this chapter. Now we will start the chapter with the topic like the mechanism by which organisms obtain oxygen from the environment and release carbon dioxide is termed breathing. What is breathing? Breathing is a mechanism or the process through which the living organisms they get oxygen from their surrounding and release out carbon dioxide. Okay? We all know we all breathe. So how we breathe? By exchanging the gases, carbon dioxide and oxygen. We take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. That is how breathing takes place. Now respiration is a much more complex process. It involves breathing, that is mechanism of exchange of gases and oxidation of digested food occurring in the cells in order to release energy. अब respiration overall क्या होता है? Respiration एक complex process है जिसमें दो चीज़ें involve होती है साथ साथ में. ब्रीदिंग भी हो रही है यानी गैसेस एक्सचेंज भी हो रहा है और साथ में ऑक्सीडेशन भी हो रहा है. जो फूड हम खाते हैं, द फूड वंस गेट डाइजेस्टेड इन आवर डाइजेस्टिव सिस्टम, देन व्हाट हैपन्स? द फूड नीड टू गिव सम एनर्जी. केवल फूड का आना और डाइजेस्ट हो जाना इज़ नॉट ओके. वी नीड टू गेट सम एनर्जी फ्रॉम द फूड. So how we get energy from the food? By oxidation of the digested food. The food that gets digested, it then oxidizes in the process of respiration to give energy. So that is how respiration is a combination of two steps, that is breathing and oxidation of food. That is how it gives energy. Now what is the respiration process? The basic definition of respiration is a fundamental process of energy release in all living organisms. Respiration occurs in all living organisms, whether it's plants or animals. It occurs in all the living organisms because it is the fundamental process of releasing energy. Energy is released by the breakdown of the digested foodstuffs during the process of respiration. It occurs in all living cells. Thus, it is considered as catabolic, in which the breakdown occurs process. So, what happens? एनर्जी जो है हमेशा रिलीज़ होती है. जब भी डाइजेस्टेड फूड का ब्रेकडाउन होता है तो हमेशा एनर्जी रिलीज़ होती है बाय द प्रोसेस ऑफ रेस्पिरेशन, एंड इट अकर्स इन ऑल लिविंग सेल्स. सिंस यहाँ पर किसी चीज़ का ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है, किस चीज़ का ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है? फूड पार्टिकल्स का. जो डाइजेस्टेड फूड है उनका ब्रेकडाउन हो रहा है. तो जो भी प्रोसेस जिसमें किसी चीज़ का ब्रेकडाउन हो, इट इज़ नोन एज कैटाबॉलिक प्रोसेस. The energy-rich foodstuffs, that is glucose and fructose, are changed to water and CO2 during the respiration, accompanied with the release of usable energy in the form of ATPs. What happens? All the foodstuff, the energy-rich foodstuff, we all know वी गेट एनर्जी फ्रॉम कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स. कार्बोहाइड्रेट कौन कौन से हैं? ग्लूकोज और फ्रक्टोज विच वी गेट फ्रॉम फूड. फूड से हमें ग्लूकोज और फ्रक्टोज मिलते हैं, दैट आर कार्बोहाइड्रेट. सो these are, by the process of respiration, these are changed to water and carbon dioxide. Okay, and then they release the energy in the form of ATPs. ATP is the main source of energy. So in the process of respiration, the digested food or the food that we take, that is carbohydrate, that is glucose and fructose, it is changed into water and carbon dioxide and releases energy in the form of ATPs. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. The experiment given below indicates that carbon dioxide is given out during exhalation. So, by the experiment, you will get to know that how the process takes place, how CO2 is given out. CO2 is given out during the exhalation step. जब breathing होती है तो उसमें जब exhalation step में CO2 is released out. So see, here's the chemical equation, that is food plus oxygen. When the food, that is glucose or fructose, is oxidized in the presence of oxygen, oxidized मतलब oxygen के साथ reaction होना, then it forms carbon dioxide and water and it gives energy in the form of ATP. Okay. Thus, respiration includes breathing as well as oxidation of food in the cells of organisms to release energy. So, altogether respiration में breathing भी होती है और oxidation of food भी होता है. Both occur together. So, this is a cell. This get food के through इसको glucose मिलेगा, which it oxidizes and produces carbon dioxide, releases out carbon dioxide, and through oxygen it gets oxygen from the air, and that is how it converts into carbon dioxide and water and also gives out energy by the process of respiration. So mitochondria are the sites of aerobic respiration in the cells. Mitochondria क्या होते हैं? सेल, हर सेल के अंदर organelles होते हैं and mitochondria is one of the organelles which is responsible for aerobic respiration. Respiration process कहाँ होता है? Mitochondria के अंदर. Now here's a activity given. So, to carry out the fermentation of sugar by using the anaerobic respiration of yeast. How could fermentation takes place? Method is, take some sugar solution or fruit juice in a test tube and add a little yeast to it. Yeast is added for doing fermentation. Fermentation कौन करेगा? Yeast करेगा. Close the mouth of the test tube with a cork and allow it to stand for some time. Now open the cork and smell. What will you observe? You will observe a characteristic smell of ethanol is obtained. Ethanol का एक अलग सा smell होता है which will be obtained from this test tube. And a gas is evolved during this process. Okay, the gas evolved is carbon dioxide. When this gas is passed through the lime water turns milky, showing that it is carbon dioxide. Whenever the carbon dioxide reacts with lime water, how it reacts? It reacts to form a milky solution. That is how we get to know that the gas evolved in this process was carbon dioxide. So, remember, human beings obtain energy by aerobic respiration, but anaerobic respiration takes place in our muscles when oxygen gets used up faster in the muscle cells that can be supplied by the blood. This results in the formation of lactic acid. ऑल्दो ह्यूमन सेल्स में एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होता है, लेकिन हमारे जो मसल सेल्स होते हैं जब उनको ऑक्सीजन की कमी हो जाती है या ऑक्सीजन बहुत जल्दी यूज़ हो जाता है व्हेन वी एक्सरसाइज तब उस केस में जो हमारे मसल सेल्स हैं उनमें एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होता है, सो दैट टू गेट एनर्जी. एंड व्हाट डू दिस प्रोसेस फॉर्म्स? दिस फॉर्म्स लैक्टिक एसिड. यहाँ पर लैक्टिक एसिड का फॉर्मेशन होता है. So, the anaerobic respiration by muscles bring about partial breakdown of glucose to form lactic acid. यहाँ पे भी anaerobic respiration होता है muscles में and they partially break down the glucose into lactic acid. और जब ये lactic acid बहुत accumulate हो जाता है तो muscle cramps हो जाते हैं. Okay, we can get relief from the muscle cramps by taking a hot water bath or a massage which improves the circulation of blood in the muscles. We can get relief from these cramps by taking a massage so that circulation of blood increases in the muscle area. The anaerobic respiration in plants like yeast produces ethanol and carbon dioxide as the end product. Plants में जो anaerobic respiration होता है वो क्या प्रोड्यूस करता है? इथेनॉल एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एज द एंड प्रोडक्ट. द एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन इन एनिमल मसल सेल्स दे प्रोड्यूस लैक्टिक एसिड. दोनों में फ़र्क है. एनिमल्स में लैक्टिक एसिड का फॉर्मेशन होता है आफ्टर एनारोबिक रेस्पिरेशन, बट इन प्लांट्स द फॉर्मेशन टेक्स प्लेस ऑफ इथेनॉल एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. So this is all for this video. We will start with the next topic in the next video. You go through this video and ask me if you have any doubts. That's all for today. Thank you.